Everything, everything is devoured by this monster in the White House. We know that. All news events that should require some attention on the part of us citizens is just swept away in this tidal wave of Trump bullshit. Please, please, Mueller, produce your papers so that even these fucked up Republicans will have no choice but to impeach this bastard and get rid of him and his horse that he rode in on, Mike Pence. Get rid of that asshole too. Please. One of those topics that should get some attention, a federal appeals court in New York ruled yesterday that the landmark Civil Rights Act, it was the 1964 Civil Rights Act, the appeals court ruled that that Civil Rights Act does bar employers from discriminating against their workers based on sexual orientation. Now, this decision, it was a real setback for this homophobic Klan's goblin that runs the Justice Department, and Trump, the asshole Trump. Of course, he never knows what he's doing. Somebody tells him to do something, he does it, especially if it's the Nazi Jew, Stephen Miller. But Trump had interceded in this lawsuit. It was filed by a skydiving instructor. The Justice Department had argued that Title VII of that Civil Rights Act did not explicitly cover sexual orientated discrimination in the workplace. Now, that position puts the Justice Department under the little goblin totally at odds with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, which is there to say, no. Discrimination is discrimination. I don't know why these fucking right-wing Nazis don't get that. Well, I do know. I mean, these are Christians, and to Christians, there's only one way to get to have sex. That's a man and a woman with the man on top always, only for the purpose of having babies. Oral sex, anal sex, any kind of sex other than just, why do you think they call it missionary position? So people that happen to be gender specific that is different from their anatomical appearance will drive these fuckers right to the edge and over. You're born a man, you're going to stay a man. I hate these people. Anyway, in rejecting the Justice Department's argument, the Goblin's argument, the United States Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit became the second appeals court to rule that the Civil Rights Act, which outlaws bias in the workplace on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, or national origin, should be extended to include sexual orientation. Now, there's been a third ruling at an appellate court here in the buckle of the fucked up Bible Belt, Atlanta, that has ruled differently. So you have three appeals courts rulings now. Two said the Civil Rights Act does cover sexual orientation. The one that says no, it doesn't. Where does it go next? Boom! Right to the Supreme Court when you have a situation like this. The problem when it gets to the Supreme Court, this will be a real challenge for this this guy that Trump appointed, Gorsuch. He is, in fact, the swing vote. It's 4-4 right now, more or less. So we'll see what happens. The private company involved here, Altitude Express, said it had not decided whether it would ask the Supreme Court to review the decision. Now, here's the deal. This ruling by the Second Circuit was 10-3. It was a full court, en banc. It stemmed from Altitude Express's dismissal of a Long Island skydiving instructor, a guy named Donald Zarda. Zarda was preparing that year for a tandem skydive with a female student. He told her that he was 100% gay, which, you got to wonder, maybe it's because, in a tandem jump, the woman or the inexperienced jumper is beneath the experienced jumper for obvious reasons, for Christ's sake. So I it's probably a throwaway line by the instructor. Hey, don't worry about it, I'm gay. Don't worry about it. She told her boyfriend, and her boyfriend complained to the school about the comment. What a fucking asshole. Zarda, the instructor, said he had made the remark to soothe the woman who seemed uncomfortable with being so tightly strapped to him during the dive. In 2015, Mr. Zarda, whose case this is about, died in a skydiving accident. His appeal, however, continued, and the legal landscape started changing. The EEOC, under this fucking orange Nazi that we have as president, issued a ruling in a separate matter, finding for the first time, I'm sorry, did I say under Trump? It was under Obama. Cortisone is still. The EEOC under Obama issued a ruling in a separate matter, finding for the first time that, quote, sexual orientation is inherently a sex-based consideration, which is what the original law said, and should be protected by the law. So now these miserable Nazis are attacking a dead guy. That figures.